We face a massive crisis in our society. People at the top are becoming richer and richer, and at the bottom, people are in absolute despair. We have a crisis around the question of the winter fuel allowance. Many people can no longer afford to heat their homes, whilst massive profits are being made by the gas and electricity corporations. It means there's austerity being pushed through, cuts in all our jobs and services. The two-child benefit means that people have insufficient income to make sure that their children have food. So you have school teachers saying that more and more children are turning up to school hungry. And you can feel it all around, really, that people are in complete and utter despair. Faced with that, we have organisations like Reform UK trying to capitalise on this, trying to build even greater divisions amongst the poorest people. Don't be fooled, these people are not friends of working class people. They are some of the richest people. Nigel Farage went to one of the most expensive schools in the country, Dulwich College. He was a merchant banker. He took more money out of Europe than most Euro MPs have. He also has been getting money from GB News. He's not a man of the people. Just because he claims to have a pint of beer and stand on your side, he does not. What he wants to do is divide and rule. He wants to divide you all up. He wants you to attack people who are black or Asian or Muslim or refugees. He wants you to be pitted against other people so that the rich can continue with their onward march of the money going upwards into their pockets. But this can be stopped. This can be stopped if we all stand together. We saw this during the summer last year when thousands of people came onto the streets to stop the attack on refugee hotels. And it is the power of ordinary people that can stop the likes of Nigel Farage. We face one of the biggest threats that we've ever faced. But we can stop them. We can stop them if we all act together.
Seen on the streets of Hartlepool, of London, of Southport is nothing to what will happen over the course of the next few weeks.
And what we saw is, in fact, the counter-movement outweighed the movement in the end. Thousands of people coming out to say this doesn't represent who we are in the UK. So in fact, it was more sort of anti-racism protesters than far-right protesters themselves. And so the question is really, where does it go from here? Is this movement now quiet? But either way, even if we don't see big riots in the UK, the fundamental questions of what this is doing to society and what it means for the UK, those remain.
So I'm Maxine Bowler.
I'm Sahil Chauhan.
My name's Owen.
My name's Ebru.
My name's Dave Banks.
I'm the co-convener for Stand Up to Racism in Sheffield. And I'm on the executive of the Trade Union Council.
I'm a student, training to be in the NHS, and I've been a chef for 7 years.
I sell furniture in a furniture shop, but I was a doorman in Doncaster for over 30 years.
I'm involved with Stand Up to Racism. I'm also involved with another project, which is Sheffield Anti-Racist Education.
And I'm an activist in Stand Up to Racism. I would say that life for everybody at the moment is a bit weird.
I think everyone's seeing a squeeze in wages. I think for people my age, life has constantly got more difficult. Austerity, we're the generation that grew up in that, and unfortunately everything's slowly gotten worse in this country, and no one's seen anything better.
I work with quite a big Asian women's group, and I'm quite well connected to the local communities in our area, and I know that they feel that their lives are getting much more difficult, that they're affected by some of the policies that have been adopted. We've had years of austerity under the Tories, and it feels like that this has not changed at all.
Well, of course, we've had the cost of living crisis for a number of years now, so everything is more expensive. People's wages aren't rising at the same rate as prices going up. People can't afford to heat their homes, and living conditions have gone down. The NHS doesn't work properly. Education is in tatters.
I think people are scared. They're not aware of a way forward at the moment, and that's worrying in itself.
Schools are being starved of funding. Public services are being destroyed. Nothing seems to work properly. And so I think life is tough for a lot of people.
I think Reform try and use the anger that there is in working class areas like Doncaster to divide people, really. They use racism, and they try and divide communities. That's what they do. People are fed up, people are angry, and they want to capitalise on that.
Reform, I've got number one target, which is Doncaster.
They think, and this is an insult to the people of Doncaster, that Doncaster is a prime target for them.
So they will be standing in all seats and for the Doncaster mayor. There's no elections taking place in Rotherham, in Sheffield, or in Barnsley this year. But if they do well in Doncaster, they'll be coming back for these areas, which is why we need to start to challenge the narrative now, and we need to start to mobilise people to go to Doncaster to stop Reform, and actually leafleting every house and taking on the argument we can win people, because people are fooled by some of this stuff that's being put out, and because they're angry as well, and we need to talk to them about the possibility of a resistance and a fight back as well.
Ultimately, it's down to us as people to stand up and take the fight to reform if it can't be trusted in the political world.
It's just about spreading that message out, the message of unity and the message against racism and division. We need to get leaflets out, we need to get on marches, we need to oppose them when they have the meetings, we need to call them out for what they are, which is just racist and Tories.
And for that reason, I would go to Doncaster time and again to talk to people on the street, give out leaflets, pass on more information.
Right, so we've been out to Doncaster a few times now, and we've had a very good response. There's a lot of apathy, but there are a lot of people who really do not like Reform UK. They already know, they've already got their number, because Doncaster has got a proud history of fighting back against some of these racist ideas. But there are people who are pulled by Reform, but we can win them by taking on the argument with those people. We can win them to not voting for Reform. This has been proved, actually. We did this in Wales, in one constituency where we leafleted the whole of that constituency. Reform came third. And we know that it worked because the Reform candidate put up on their social media that every door they knocked on, they were asked, "Are you a racist?" And he said it was embarrassing. So it's very important that we nail them on the question that they are racist.
And I think people need to recognise that a big majority of Doncaster is not racist, and they wouldn't tolerate such behaviour, and they wouldn't vote for Reform UK because they aren't their sort of people. This country, in the majority, is anti-racist, and it will continue to build on that. And the Stand Up to Racism recognise that, and it's important that we, together, make sure people of Doncaster have the platform to raise their voices.
We have to grow our numbers. We need more and more people on our side so that we can hold these stalls at least once a week, so that we can go door-to-door leafleting people's homes, because these are the things that Reform are doing. They're putting their propaganda through people's doors, and people pick it up and they read it. So we absolutely must offer an alternative and be active and be present to talk to people and warn them of the dangers of reform.
All they want to do is divide working class people and spread a message of hate, really. You know, they want to use racism to divide us. They want to blame Muslims and migrants and immigrants, and they aren't the problem. The problem comes from the top, the rich, and because they don't pay the tax. But instead of blaming people like that, they blame people, like I say, people of colour, immigrants and Muslims, and it offers nothing for ordinary people.
Rising gas prices are making 457 billion in profit globally. Like, that's not down to migrants, Muslims, refugees. It's just not.
I just think that the people I know are in despair. But we need to build up those people, because else they can start to blame other people. People can become mean-minded. They can feel that there's nobody who speaks for them, and therefore out of the depth of despair can come the idea that you start to blame somebody else. And that's why we have to fight very hard to challenge the narrative that's being put forward by many of these politicians, by Reform UK, who want to blame the poorest of people, the refugees, the Muslims, the black people, anybody, the people who are LGBT+, they want to scapegoat those people, and they want everybody to attack them rather than to attack the people who are really to blame for the crisis, and they're the people at the top of society.
It was fantastic to see Sheffield Eagles holding an iftar. That is something I hadn't expected, and I think this shows that people are out there wanting to undo the damage that the people like Reform UK want to do, and in the fear they want to instill in people in our communities, in our city. And it's a welcoming experience. Everybody comes together, they share, and typically if it's a collective breaking of fast, which is called iftar, then what would happen is various people would volunteer to actually put on the breaking of fast. And that could be for 100 people, could be much bigger. And the one at the Eagles is really heartwarming, coming together in harmony and actually breaking fast. And it's a moment of joy as well. And I think that's something to be valued.
I think Islamophobia is a really big problem, and we need to arm ourselves with the arguments that take on some of these false narratives that they put forward.
I think music has a fantastic, a major role, you know, in breaking down barriers. Recently, I saw footage of the anti-Nazi carnival that I went to, and you're looking about, I don't know if it was about 30, 40 years ago. And it were massive, and it were a major blow to the National Front at the time. He had the massive bands on, like the Clash, the Tom Robinson band, and it really, like I say, it really knocked the fascists on the back foot. And that's really what Love Music Hate Racism is about, is bringing communities together in unity, you know, against racism and having fun.
Recently, some fantastic new young people in Sheffield have picked it back up again and are running with it, and a recent event at a toolmaker's workshop, I think it was just a joyous community occasion, and just sat chatting to people, finding out about each other. There were a few speakers who told us what their work involved and what their experiences had been as a migrant arriving in this country, and it was just a wonderful evening.
Reform UK go round saying that the real problem is refugees or Muslims. So what we're trying to do is to challenge this narrative.
What I would say is UKIP about 9 or 10 years ago came to Doncaster to hold their conference at the racecourse. Stand Up to Racism had a massive campaign against UKIP at the time, and it was fantastic. UKIP were riding high at the time, but we had a demonstration, we had a march through Don, we had well over 1,000 people there. We handed out leaflets all across Doncaster, and they didn't do very well actually, they did terribly.
People are looking at each other with suspicion. Are you reform? Is he reform? I don't think that needs to be the case, and I think we need to give them confidence, and I think that's what we'll be doing.
I think ultimately the people have to stand up and get on the streets and be there wherever reform turns its head up.
And we need as many people with us as possible. So if you know 2 people, tell them, and then tell them to tell their gran or their neighbour or bring their dog, and we can all stand together.
We did it, like I say, with UKIP, and we can do it again. It's just about spreading that message out, the message of unity and the message against racism.
We need to stop them. And we can, but we need more people so we can get more coverage to go to more houses, and we will have a real impact.